Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Josh,
And I'm Barbara.
and today we're going to talk all about the top 5 questions about living here in the Phoenix metro area.
You know, we get a lot of calls, text messages for people that are looking to move to the area. And honestly, we just love it. We love taking your calls. So if you have any questions about this area, reach out to us. Send us a DM, a text message, a call, however you want to get a hold of us. We are here for you and we're here to answer all your questions. But these are the 5 most frequently asked questions that we get.
So, starting off with number 1, our probably the most common question we get about living or moving here to Phoenix is it really that hot here? Short answer is yes. Long answer, also yes. So,
Yeah, yes, but.
there is a big but though. So yes, in summers it does get quite hot here. Where our summer average temperatures are always usually above 100. We'll get several days above 110, rarely above 115, and maybe once every 3 to 4 years you'll get one day in 120. But that's pretty rare. Usually average temperatures for the high during the peak summer months are going to be anywhere from about 102 to 108. Some weeks when we get like a big heat wave coming through, you'll be in the 110 to 112-ish range, but not usually too much above that. So,
Yeah, but we only get those temperatures for about 4 months out of the year.
well, even then, not even. Usually, if it's the really above the close to 110s, that's usually only about a month and a half, 2 months that we'll really see those temperatures that high. For the other 4 months, Barbara is right, it is still quite warm. And those 4 months, our average highs and average daily temps will be in the 95 plus range for about those 4 months and cools off quite a bit. But I would just like to say that it is a dry heat here. So if you've never experienced a dry heat versus humid heat, dry heat is, at least for me, and I believe both of us, and usually most people, is much easier to deal with than a very humid heat. Personally, I'd rather take 115 in our 0% humidity 10 out of 10 days any day of the week over a 90 or 95 degree day and 90+% humidity like you'd get in Florida and a lot of places over on the East Coast. That humidity, at least for me, stinks. When I'm just feeling sticky and all that, it's not fun. The dry heat is definitely more bearable.
Yeah, so here, you know, in the summertime, we do go from our air conditioned house to our air conditioned car to our air conditioned office or, you know, shopping area or whatever. So it is a little uncomfortable, but I would say less uncomfortable than, you know, in the middle of the winter and having to put on all those clothes and, you know, warm your car up for, you know, 10, 15 minutes before you can even get in. Um, the other thing about the heat is it is just in the like middle of the day when it's super super hot. I play tennis all summer long, so we usually don't start till 7:30 at night, and so we can play tennis in the evening. So once that sun goes down, it kind of cools off pretty fast. So it's not real uncomfortable to be able to still do outdoor activities here in the middle of the summer.
Oh, absolutely. Because here in Phoenix, we are very diurnal, which means that we do have very high daily temperatures, but then cools down quite a bit at night. There's not a lot of heat soak. So even though our highs during the summer will be in the 100 plus range, the lows during the evening will usually be in the 80s or so. Sometimes they'll drop into the upper 70s there at night, even in the middle of the summer. Which in the 80s with that low humidity and a little light breeze when the sun's down, it is actually pretty nice to go doing what you like. So during summer, just make sure you're doing it either early in the morning or later in the evening once the sun is setting, and you can still do all those wonderful outdoor activities. But here it's just kind of like a reverse season, where in a lot of other places, especially in the northern states and the Northeast, you guys don't necessarily go out too much during the winter. If you do, you got to bundle up a lot. Same thing here, just except we do that during the summer.
So the next question we get is Phoenix in the middle of the desert? And the answer is yes. We are in the middle of the Sonoran Desert, which is one of the only places in the world that you're going to find the saguaro cactus.
Yes.
However, You know, the Phoenix metro area is very developed, so it's not going to feel like you're in the middle of the desert. We have communities that have green grass and trees and things like that. So if you're actually in the metropolitan area, it's not going to really feel like you're in the desert. Now, if you get outside the metropolitan area, yes. On the way to road that takes you out to California or down to Tucson, those areas, you literally are feeling like you're driving through a desert.
But I do just want to make sure that everyone is aware that the Sonoran Desert is one type of desert. And a lot of people I've met who've never been to Arizona before, when they think that it's in the middle of the desert, they're thinking something like the Sahara Desert,
Yeah.
which we are nothing like the Sahara Desert. We are actually what they call a lush green desert, where we do not get a ton of rainfall, and it is we do have the cactus in that dirt landscape, but it is not just sand dunes or sand everywhere. We don't
Right.
actually have much sand at all. We have very hard clay ground here and dirt with a bunch of different trees, such as the different green trees and a lot of cactuses and a lot of bushes. There's a lot of plant life going around in our desert, but it is still a desert. If we do want to get to something that feels like the Sahara Desert, you're going to have to go to the very southwest of the state, on the right by Yuma, on the border between Arizona and California, where you do have the sand dunes there, which makes you feel like you're in the Sahara Desert. But here in the valley, in the Phoenix metro area, it is a desert, but doesn't necessarily feel like one too much with how much plant life is around. But a fun thing with Arizona is we do have a very diverse ecology here and a lot of different plant life and many different biomes. So just here in the valley, if you go just an hour or so north, you go from our high desert here to pine forest, and then you get the stuff in between. So there are a lot of different areas for you to enjoy right around the Phoenix metro area that are pretty close, where you won't really feel like you're in a desert at all. So moving on to the third most common question we get about living in the Phoenix metro area is, what is there to do? Well,
A lot.
that's the tough question because there is so much to do around here. We are a very large metropolitan city with a population of over 5 million. Phoenix itself is the fifth largest city in the entire U.S., and it is a very spread out city as well. So you have everything that any big city has to offer in terms of entertainment, nightlife, and everything like that. In addition, what makes Phoenix so special compared to many other of the big cities out there is our outdoors and our recreation that we have. We have tons and tons of golf. That's one of our specialties here, as well as just our general sports and other outdoor activities. Because here, unlike many places, our sports run year round. So if you are a sports person, whether it be tennis or pickleball, which is getting super popular here, or golf, tennis, football, baseball, lacrosse, hockey, soccer,
Hiking, boating.
yep, hiking, boating, our water sports here are quite big. We have some professional fishing tournaments going around here too. So there's just so much to do. And then especially our outdoors, as Barbara said, just enjoying the serene outdoors. We have national parks around us too. We have the Tonto National Forest just on the east side of the valley. Grand Canyon National Park, which is up in the north end of the state, as well as the Monument Valley. But there is just so much to do here that we could be here all day just telling you all the different types of things to do.
Yeah, I mean, and when it comes to indoor activities, I mean, we have tons of those as well. I mean, from their shopping centers to restaurants, our nightlife facilities. We've got of course, you know, the bowling alleys and, you know, all sorts of indoor activities. Lots of indoor mini golf places. So if it's a little too hot for you in the summertime, we got you covered. We got lots of things to do inside in the summertime.
So if you're wondering if we have any specific thing down here, please just leave us a comment down below or reach out to us. We'd love to chat with you about it, let you know any of those details that you might want to know. But if, long story short, if it's an outdoor activity, we got it here. If it's an indoor activity, we also have that here. There's very few things that we really don't have, which are only specialty things, such as if you're into, so unless it's something like swamp boating or something like that, you might have to go over to the Florida Everglades for something of that nature. So unless it's something super specific, we definitely got you covered with those outdoor activities here.
So the next question we get from a lot of people that are considering a move to the Phoenix area is, how are the schools? I'm going to be honest, there is, I think, some misinformation out there. If you look at some numbers, it does show that the Phoenix area doesn't spend very much on a pupil basis. However, if you look at the bigger picture and look at all the schools that are highly ranked nationally, I think the Phoenix area has lots of options. The thing I like about the schools here in the Phoenix area is you have choices. We have what's called open enrollment. So if you're living in an area and you don't necessarily like the school that your child is assigned to, your neighborhood school, if you will, you can send your child to any school that you want as long as they have availability. So, that is definitely an option. We have the public schools, we have charter schools, we have private schools, we have community schools. So we have a lot of different choices for our students here.
Yep, and as Barbara said, some of the schools here are very highly ranked nationally. One that comes to mind is our basis schools here, which are consistently in the top 5 in the entire country for both
Right.
elementary, middle, and high schools. So if you do want that upper levels of education for your child, we do have plenty of schools that offer that. Other ones, public schools have the IB programs, honors and AP. So everything like that, from the very high level to the very low level, we have everything in between.
Yeah, so if your child has maybe an IEP, there are actually some schools that specialize in helping kids with special needs. I know that there's a couple of schools that specialize in helping kids that are on the autism spectrum. So lots of great choices. If that's something that's important to you and to your family, just reach out to us. We'll help direct you to where you can get the information on all the different schools so you can find the perfect school for you, your child, and your family.
We do also have a lot of higher education here in the Phoenix area as well. We have our ASU is the University right in Phoenix as well. That's Arizona State. Just north, about 2 hours, we have NAU, Northern Arizona University. And about an hour and a half south, we have University of Arizona as well. There's also medical schools here, tons of other higher education and graduate schools as well, from journalism, medicine, legal,
Law.
and kind of everything in between that you could want. We have all that right here in the valley. And so last question we get on our 5th most common question is, are the housing prices high here? And the short answer for that is, it depends. The long answer is, by it depends, it really takes into account where you're looking. You have very affordable homes here in the Phoenix metro area, and then you have ones that are super expensive too, which are all dependent on the community you're within. If you go up to something in North Scottsdale in the community of Silverleaf, it'll be very, very expensive for you to purchase a home there. If you want even just a 2-bed, 2-bath kind of condo, you're talking at least $1.5 million for something right up in there. But likewise, there are other areas in the Phoenix metro that if you're looking for that same 2-bed, 2-bath, you'll be looking at under $200,000. So it really depends on the area you're looking in, because we have things that go from every different type of budget, from the very small budget to the enormous budget where you don't even know what to spend the money on.
Yeah, so if you are thinking of moving to the Phoenix area, what you need to do is you need to reach out to us. Help us understand what your budget is and what you're looking for, and then we can help guide you and tell you what communities would be best for you and your family based on your budget, your needs, everything that goes into thinking about relocating to an area.
So that covers our top 5 most common questions that we get asked about living here in Phoenix or moving to the Phoenix area. Now, if you have other questions that we didn't answer, remember, these were just the top 5. But please either comment down below or reach out to us, because we just love giving you guys as much information as possible. Because our goal at the end of the day is to keep you as informed as we possibly can and to just help you along the way. That way, if you're looking at moving here to the Phoenix area, or if you're just wondering what it's like to be here, we got you covered on all those different bases. But if you did like that video, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And don't forget to get that bell icon on. That way you get notified of all our future content. Well, thanks again for joining us. We'll see ya.